As reptile keepers, we love a ton of different reptiles. However, only a select few are worthy of being considered dream reptiles. In today's video, I'll be going over my top 6 dream lizards with you guys and why I think they're so awesome. Welcome back to Ravishing Reptiles, everyone. Thank you so much for being here today. I wanted to quickly mention that because these are dream lizards, I will be actively working towards my goal of one day owning every single lizard on this list. So if you want to be there for that journey and you want to be there when I do get one of these awesome lizards, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on anything. But without further ado, guys, let's get into the countdown. Number 6, armadillo lizard. Now, this is a desert species of lizard that can typically be found along the western coast of South Africa. And taking a look at their appearance, it's pretty easy to see why I consider them a dream reptile. They have these beady, pitch black eyes. They have impressive claws for their size. They have that beautiful sandy color as well as blacks and oranges. They have awesome plated scales and spikes throughout their whole body. They have a flat yet powerful head that kind of reminds me of a dragon. In fact, almost everything about them is dragon-like. It's just awesome. They also have one of the coolest defense mechanisms in all of nature. When threatened, they'll stick their tail into their mouth and kind of roll into a ball. In this position, they're protected from predators by the thick scales that run down their spine, as well as by the spikes poking out from their sides. This behavior really resembles that of an armadillo, which is of course how the armadillo lizard got their common English name. Another cool thing about this species is that they do not lay eggs, which is highly unusual for lizards. Instead, females will give live birth to 1 or 2 lizards at a time. Additionally, the mothers tend to feed and care for their offspring, which is, again, something super uncommon for lizards. Armadillo lizards also make great pets as their care is fairly straightforward and they are a relatively hardy species. They typically only get to about 5 or 8 inches max in size, so you're not going to need a super huge enclosure. Additionally, since they do come from the desert, all you got to do is provide a lot of heat and keep the humidity low and you'll be good to go. In the wild, they primarily eat termites, but in captivity, they'll gladly accept a diet of crickets and other insects. They're also diurnal, which means that they spend a lot of time out during the day, so you'll be seeing them quite often. And additionally, they also make a great community reptile. So you can cohab multiple armadillo lizards as long as there is only one male. So you can just do one armadillo lizard. You can do one male with a few females, or you can even do all females if you so choose. They're also fairly docile and easy to socialize, so this would make a great option if you're looking for a reptile that you can handle frequently. Really, the only downside to armadillo lizards is that they're not available, like almost never. Captive bred individuals are extremely rare, and when they do pop up, they're usually at least like $1,000 and up. But yeah, I think this species is super cool, and in my opinion, the price tag is well worth it for them. So one day I will have one, and I can't wait because I really do think that they're pretty freaking awesome. Number 5, satanic leaf-tailed geckos. These guys can be found living inside of tropical forests on the island of Madagascar, and there's no doubt about it. This is one of the most unique and crazy looking species of lizard on the entire planet. They have these kind of like eyelash-like projections above each of their eyes that gives them a pretty sinister look, hence their common name. They have these big, beautiful eyes that are sometimes red in color. The gecko itself comes in a variety of colors, including browns, grays, yellows, blacks, and sometimes even red. They also have that tail that looks exactly like a leaf, which is obviously meant to camouflage them. But camouflage is not their only defense mechanism. These guys are also known to flatten up really tightly against whatever surface they're on to reduce their shadow. They will open up their jaws to reveal a frightening red mouth. And lastly, they also, of course, have the ability to drop their tails on command to get away from would-be predators. All of these amazing features are packed into a really small package, as these geckos tend to only average out between 2.5 to 3 inches in length. Like a lot of other geckos, these guys are nocturnal and they are arboreal. However, as awesome as these geckos are, there are a few challenges associated with keeping the satanic leaf-tailed gecko in captivity. Number one, it's very difficult to find captive bred individuals. Most of what you will see out there will be wild caught animals, which I do not recommend, especially for this species. They come with a variety of problems and are very likely to crash on you. Number two, their care is pretty difficult and they are not a hardy species, so this is definitely not something suitable for beginners or even maybe intermediate keepers. However, despite these challenges, I think that these geckos are amongst the coolest in the world, so I will be working hard and doing my due diligence to make sure that one day I acquire one of these awesome geckos. Number 4, electric blue day geckos. If you saw my video on the top 6 blue reptiles, you already know how much I absolutely love these guys. These tiny geckos will typically max out at around 3 inches, and they do exhibit sexual dimorphism, meaning the males and females look very different from each other. Typically the females will be an olive green color, and they look great and all, but it's the males that make this a dream species for me. They have the prettiest and the brightest blue that I have ever seen on any reptile. Unfortunately, these guys are critically endangered and will most likely be extinct in the wild very soon. That's why it's super important that we work with these guys in captivity and try to propagate this species to the best of our abilities. That way, if people decide to stop being dicks and destroying their habitat, we'd be able to release some back into the wild. My good friend Will Exotic picked up a pair of these not too long ago, so I've asked him to come on and tell us what it's like keeping electric blue day geckos as pets.
What's going on, guys? So yes, just like Alex said back there, I have pretty recently, within the last 2 months or so, acquired a pair of blue day geckos, Lygodactylus williamsi, and oh my goodness, are they the coolest little lizards in the world. Now when you start to keep this species, 2 things will become very, very apparent. Other than the fact that the males are bright blue, just like incredibly blue, they really do live up to their name. They have such amazing personalities. Now both of my pair, a male and a female, have such different personalities. Of course the male is much more bold. He'll routinely interact with me, crawl on my hand even though he's super fast, and that kind of scares me. The female's a little bit more shy, but she still does have her bold moments where she'll kind of come up to me, she'll eat off the tongs, and they're just all around super inquisitive little lizards. Dare I say they're just as interactive as bigger lizards like monitors. Now the second thing you'll notice is that when kept in pairs, not only will they most likely give you eggs, which is sick in and of itself, but they exhibit so much cool behavior when kept in pairs. Male-female pairs are best. Don't want to keep 2 males, don't want to keep 2 females together unless you have just a massive enclosure. Of course, do your research. But in general, a male-female pair is a pretty safe bet. They will spend all day chasing each other. The male will be throat displaying, bobbing his head. They'll be kind of licking each other. They'll be basking together, laying on each other. Guys, it's just the most fun thing to sit there and watch these little lizards. I cannot say enough good things about the electric blue day gecko.
There you have it, guys. Blue day geckos are absolutely incredible and we all need them in our lives. Links to Will's Instagram and YouTube will be down in the description below, so make sure to give him a follow for some high quality lizard content. Blue days are not the only blue reptile he has in his collection, so if you want to see what that's all about, make sure to check him out. Number 3, Japanese cave geckos. These guys are endemic to the Ryukyu Islands in Japan, and they can be found in or around their cave systems. Adam Wickens once described these guys as emo leopard geckos, and that's exactly what they are. They literally look like leopard geckos that just found black eyeliner and decided to join like a heavy metal band or something. I think these guys are just so incredibly badass and beautiful to look at. They have a jet black base color and bright orange bands that run down its body that turn into white bands as it reaches its tail. They also have these beautiful oranges to sometimes even red colored eyes that just look super beautiful and kind of evil. It's just freaking sick, guys. Like, I love the way that these guys look. Their appearance is the main reason why I want to keep one of them so bad, but luckily their care is also pretty straightforward. These guys do get a little bit smaller than leopard geckos, so you can comfortably house them in something like a 20-gallon. They are insectivores, and they will gladly eat any insect that you throw at them. One issue, or one could-be issue, is that they do come from caves, so they do like it pretty humid, so that's something that you'll have to keep in mind. The biggest challenge with these guys is keeping it cool enough. You typically want to have them between 65 and 70 degrees. Anything at or above 75 can quickly be fatal for these guys. I live in Miami, Florida, so keeping it that cold is probably going to be an issue. But once I, kind of figure it out and solve that little problem, yeah, you can believe that I'm going to be bringing one of these guys into the family. Number 2, Kimberly rock monitors. This is the only species on this list that I've actually had before. The OGs of this channel will remember my second video ever, where I brought home and unboxed a baby Kimberly rock monitor. Unfortunately, the breeder kind of sucked, and that baby ended up passing away very shortly afterwards.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
Jesus Christ. Nice jump. He's okay. But anyways, their beauty is really what makes these guys a dream species for me. They have a long, narrow snout with a white or yellowish throat. They usually have a black stripe that runs from their snout across their eyes and to the back of their head that I think looks just super duper cool. They of course also have a geometric pattern along their back, but my favorite thing about them is probably their insanely large tail. It's just so damn long. These lizards of course hail from the Kimberley region in northern Australia. They are primarily found on rocky cliff faces, but can occasionally be found inside of forests. They are pretty big for a lizard, but not that big for a monitor. They typically can get between 2.5 to 3 feet in length. However, most of that will be their insanely long tail, which can take up to... I got him. I knew he was going to jump. I'm keeping that in the video. But anyways, their tail can be as long as... can take up as much as 3/4 of their body. These lizards are not the best for beginners as they have very specific care requirements and are not very tolerant of mistakes. They like it pretty hot and pretty humid. They are also semi-arboreal and very curious, so you want to give them a big enclosure with plenty of room to climb and explore. Kimberley rock monitors are carnivorous and their diet should consist mainly of insects. However, on occasion you can offer things like rodents, eggs, and fish. Kimmies are also pretty social creatures, and they can be housed in groups. I know Mike from Mike's Monitors has a breeding group of about 2 males and 3 females, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, this is definitely still a dream species for me as I never really had a fair chance at keeping one. But I did find someone that's working with them and that is very reputable. So I'll be giving it another shot very soon. And I can't wait because they really are like one of the most beautiful lizards on the planet, in my opinion. Number 1, sailfin dragons. As a kid, I always wanted a pet dragon. As an adult, I still want a freaking pet dragon, which is why I love these guys so much. Sailfin dragons belong to the genus Hydrosaurus, which literally translates to water lizard. These unique lizards come from Asia. More specifically, they come from Indonesia and the Philippines. Sailfin dragons prefer to live inside of forests and inland wetlands of these islands. Unfortunately, due to deforestation and smuggling for the pet trade, Sailfin dragons are listed as threatened and may soon become endangered. Sailfin dragons are omnivorous, and they'll basically eat anything that can fit into their mouth. Hatchlings and juveniles tend to prefer more meat, whereas the adults will tend to have vegetables and plants as a staple of their diet. Juvenile sailfin dragons can actually run on water, kind of like the Jesus lizard, using their hind legs. Another fun fact about them is that sailfin dragons are actually born without their sail, and it'll typically develop or start developing when they are about 6 months old. This is obviously a dream species due to their absolute badass appearance. The males will have that sail that they are so famously known for. That sail is used for things like regulating their body temperature, balance, swimming, and of course attracting females. Sailfin dragons also come in a variety of colors, ranging from yellows and greens to purples, blues, and blacks. The biggest roadblock to keeping these guys in captivity is just how absolutely massive their enclosure will have to be. These are really large lizards, guys. The females will only get to about 2.5 feet, but the males will get to about 4 feet. Obviously, if I'm going to have a sailfin dragon, I want it to have a damn sail, so I will be looking at getting a male. These guys love to swim, so you're also going to need a large water area. And on top of that, these guys also love to climb. So it's a big lizard, it's semi-aquatic, semi-arboreal. So yeah, it's gonna end up being absolutely huge. But yeah, I won't be able to keep one until I move into a bigger place. But when I do, you can bet your bottom dollar that you will see a sailfin dragon on this channel. That's all for today's video, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy it, please consider hitting like and subscribing to the channel. I would really appreciate that. While you're down there, let me know what your dream lizards are. I would love to know what you guys are into. But yeah, guys, that's gonna do it for today. As always, thanks for watching and enjoy your reptiles.